Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Fear the Walking Dead review. So this is my review, full spoiler review for episode 2 of season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead. So yeah, be aware of that. I'm just gonna say right now, I actually really enjoyed this episode. I've been seeing some people online say that they're not enjoying Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like my expectations going into the episodes or just like, the setting in which I'm watching the episodes. But like, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. Like episode 1 definitely set up the world. Episode 2, I thought really did some really fun stuff with Dwight and Sherry and really, first of all, set up the future of The Walking Dead. And actually more than that, just the whole radiation cure stuff here. Like we're getting into some really crazy stuff here. Like this episode honestly was a really great episode. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and go follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be doing a live stream later on today on Twitch. We'll talk about this episode. I'm wanting to be live on there for like when the episode airs around there and just sort of talk about the episode with you guys while it's airing sort of on cable, I guess. And obviously I can't show the episode or anything like that, so don't ask that, but just sort of talk with you guys and do a live Q&A and whatnot about the episode, because I thought this episode was actually really great. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there later on live on Twitch. My channel name is Appetite for the Dead. The link should be in the description of this video. Now, to talk about Fear the Walking Dead episode 2, going in, first of all, it took me a couple of days to watch this. I heard about a lot of stuff. I've seen a few things just because you can't really avoid spoilers, but I finally sat down and watched the episode, and I was actually hooked. Like, I wasn't at a single point really checking to see how much was left of the episode. Like, I was actually just like, oh, this is actually really good. I think the pacing and the flow of this episode worked really well. I think the new character, Adrian, while he's only in the episode for literally just this episode, I thought he actually, as a character, had such a perfect story arc. It was really great. And the ending scene with his zombie head and Finch and stuff, like I thought everything here just like it connected really well with like June's overall, story, because this episode is essentially was centered on June and what her life has been like, right? But you add Dwight and Sherry and their son Finch and Adrian into the mix, and I thought they handled everything here really well. Dwight and Sherry, they do have a son named Finch, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, is that Dwight's son? Because he literally looks exactly like Dwight. Like he's like a mini Dwight. And I was like, I'm really praying he is. Like I'm really praying he's Dwight's son, because if that's the case, then we are literally getting the next generation of The Walking Dead. Like Daryl needs to have a kid. And then at that point, I mean, essentially everyone, I guess that's the thing, right? We don't know about Negan. I don't know if his family's still alive or not. There's some complex stuff there, but I guess we'll learn that in Dead City, which premieres in less than a month now. June has been living on her own, and she stays away from Padre, just like clutching the fingers of collectors, and that's just sort of her whole thing. We see this new character named Adrian. He walks in, and he's wanting help finding his daughter, and June refuses. And at first, it just kind of seemed very typical, like, well, she just wants to stay alone. She doesn't want to help people anymore. She just really, she doesn't want to experience pain anymore. She just wants to feel that loneliness and just wants to be alone, because if she, if she can get used to that, then she doesn't have to experience any sort of heartbreak or pain, because, in a sense, love, does bring a lot of pain, which, like, yeah, man, I'm feeling that too much right now. There's this whole encounter between June, Dwight, and Sherry. Like, they have this interaction where June notices some collectors and then, like, shoots at them, or I guess tranquilizes them or something like that. And then it ends up being revealed that that's Finch, Dwight and Sherry's son. Dwight and Sherry are there, which I thought was really cool. And then they eventually go to this train where it looks like a lot of experiments were done, and Finch needs work on his appendix because it seems like it's about to burst or whatever. And so they want June's help. And at first June refuses, but eventually does help. But yeah, they're at this train. Adrian shows up, the guy before that wanted help from June, and when she refused, and is now here. A gunshot goes off and turns off the power to the train. And now it's sort of a mission that they're on. And sort of that's like the overall thing of the episode now, right? Is like they have to get to the back of the train to turn the power back on to perform this surgery. And so Dwight and Sherry leave, and we see June working on experiments for Padre. And we sort of learned something that I found was quite interesting, in which Padre was attempting to use a lot of the radiation that was out there in the world to cure walker bites. And it seems like it was actually very successful. And that's the part about it that I was honestly kind of shocked by. And it seems like they might actually be exploring this right now with the Walking Dead universe, is exploring a way to actually have a cure. Apparently it's very painful. It's like much more painful than anything a walker bite would would cause you, but you actually do survive, apparently. And there's been some like failed experiments and stuff, but considering what happens at the end, and we'll talk about that then, I really wonder if this is actually going to be very successful. Like, it kind of seems like that's where they're going here. Around the same time here, we do learn that Sherry wants to fight back or possibly just kind of get away from Padre, and Dwight agrees, and he's just like, yeah, you know what? I guess like we could just be a family. Like, we can do this on our own kind of thing. And then a bunch of walkers end up swarming them, and then they're trapped. I love this scene because Dwight is like, radioing Sherry, and it's like, or not Sherry, but June. And then he's like, you need to promise me if something happens to me or to us, that you'll take care of Finch. And then June is just like, I'm going to come and get you guys. Like, she literally could not promise that. Like, she could not promise that she would take care of him. And she's like, no, like, Finch is going to need you guys, which actually does work. Obviously, that plan overall worked. And Dwight and Sherry tell Finch that they're his parents. He doesn't really believe them at first, but I do think over time he will. And I will say, I do like the name Finch. Like, I know that was a name given to him by Padre, I'm pretty sure, but I do actually like the name. It kind of suits the character and stuff. Like, I really do like the idea that Dwight has a son named Finch. I don't know. It's such a Walking Dead name. It just works really well. And then we start to get into some of the crazy stuff of the episode where Adrian actually finds his daughter in the train, and June knew all along. And I was actually shocked from this. Like, I had no idea that they would be going in a direction like this. Like, it kind of reminded me of the Sophia reveal a little bit. Obviously not as big, because back then on The Walking Dead, it was like 7-8 episodes of like, where's Sophia? It was such a big part of the story. To learn that Sophia was in that barn was such a big reveal. Whereas with this one here, it's like a 1-episode thing, but it was still kind of shocking, just for June to be like, yeah, I knew your daughter, and she missed you and this and that, and she sort of explains, the experiments and stuff of what happened. Adrian freaks out, almost kills June, but June explains that, like, I had to do these things against my will. Like, it really, like, it wasn't my fault in that sense. I really tried to fight back. I didn't want to do it. And I felt really bad for Adrian. And that's what I mean. This character, like, he just sort of comes into the show like a random character, and he has this really, really great arc here. And the acting he did and everything, like, I thought he was just phenomenal in this episode. And honestly, it's just sad. Like, it's really sad what happened to him, and I really feel bad that, yeah, like, his daughter was gone. And I totally understand that feeling of just like, you're just gonna go into the train, and she's a walker, so she's gonna bite you, obviously, right? But just not wanting to feel alone, and like your kids are sort of your drive, and they're your everything, right? So you just, at that point, you just want to be with them no matter what. And so I totally understand that. It's such a tragic ending. It is really sad, but there is some positive, I guess, because June does join Dwight and Sherry's family. Like, Dwight's like, I want you to be a part of our family, because you've always been there. I'm alive because of you, sort of thing. So I thought all of that was kind of cool. And then Padre shows up and forces June to work on experiments again. It's then revealed that Adrian, I guess his zombie head, is now attached to that device and actually bites Finch. I didn't know if they were going to go there. I was actually wondering, like, are they gonna go and actually do that? Because that could really mean that Finch is going to die, right? And I really liked Sherry and Dwight's response, their reaction to the whole thing. They were freaking out. Sherry was like, she reacted like, okay, like her son's gone. And Dwight was like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, this was something that I was comparing it to, like, while I was watching it, I was comparing it to the scene in season 7, episode 1 of The Walking Dead, where Negan kills Glenn and Abraham, and then later on is about to kill Carl, and Rick is just like freaking out. Obviously, Rick's reaction was really insane because it was like right in front of him, but still, it was that same reaction. I really liked the scene. Like, I was so stunned. I thought the whole scene here was so phenomenal. This was one of the best scenes I've seen in Fear the Walking Dead in a long time. Like, I didn't think they were actually going to go here. Usually what happens on this show is when you have a zombie head going towards Finch or say another character, and you're like, oh, well, they're actually not going to bite that character. Like, someone's going to come in out of nowhere and save the day, sort of thing. But no, literally, that does not happen. I had this unsettling feeling, and I was like, man, I can't believe they're actually going here with this story here. And I like it because of the whole thing with radiation curing walker bites. I feel like that's why they did it. It was that shocking, but I'm so hyped about it because they might be getting into some stuff that I've been really wanting them to get into with like an actual cure for the zombie virus. And so if they're going to expose him to radiation to be able to cure that, I'm very, very interested in how that's going to change the future of the Walking Dead universe, because it really could change a lot. Like, honestly, it really could change a lot. So yeah, phenomenal episode. Actually, I totally forgot. At the very end, Madison and Morgan show up, and Morgan mentioned something about, you know, maybe fixing something that happened in the past. And to me, I imagine that's referencing putting Jenny down or something like that. Or obviously it has to do with his house in King County. So Madison frees Morgan and yeah, he's out there now. And so in the next couple of episodes, we're probably going to see where that's going to go. And so I thought this episode was great. I enjoyed it. You know, I've been seeing some negative reaction to Fear the Walking Dead. I don't really understand it. Like, I get it. There's a part of it that's like, these characters aren't like the Walking Dead characters, because imagine a scene like with what we got between Dwight, Sherry, June, and Finch. And imagine that was Carl laying on that bed there and that walker bit Carl. And we had like Rick and Michonne sort of standing off to the side, but they're being held against their will. Or not even Carl, because Carl's gone. Just say it's Judith or RJ, right? Like that whole scene would be so crazy and we'd be talking about it so much. And why? It's because of the actors there, right? It's because of the characters that are there. They're really big characters, and obviously we love Rick and Michonne. It's just, I try to ignore that during scenes like this, and Dwight and Sherry are really great characters. Yeah, they're not Rick and Michonne, but still, they're really great characters, and I thought this scene was really incredible. I really enjoyed this. I think that the story here was actually really great. Honestly, I'm enjoying Season 8 so far. This one's definitely better than Episode 1. Episode 1, I would rate like a 7 out of 10. You know, nothing too exciting happened, but it was just sort of it was a solid episode. It just sort of set up the season. You know, nothing too crazy happened. But this one here actually did take some turns, and it actually, you know, had some very shocking moments. I would rate this one like an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm really looking forward to episode 3. So anyways, here's my review. I'll do my trailer breakdown right after this, so stay tuned for that. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.